I hate Windows 11, so I'm switching to Linux. Yes, that's right. On this drive is our next operating system for this PC. So say goodbye to Windows because we're shutting this down. And now we just need to plug in the flash drive with our new operating.
November 2025. StatCounter releases data that confirms Microsoft's worst nightmare. Windows 10 market share is rising, not falling. Rising, currently at 61.3%, up from 58.7% 3 months ago. Windows 11 sits at 26.1%, down from 28.4%. Windows 10 support officially ended 13 months ago in October 2024. Yet, users are choosing unsupported software over Windows 11. They're not migrating. They're not waiting for the right time. They've made a permanent decision: never upgrade to Windows 11. This isn't delayed adoption. This is permanent rejection. And the data proves it's not changing.
I'm having a great time right now. It's been 30 minutes of trying to install one program. Holy. Do you ever feel like Windows just keeps getting worse? It's almost like every week they add more bloat, ads, half-baked updates on features that already work just fine, and slide in AI crap where it shouldn't be. Not to mention making it harder and harder to have any semblance of privacy while you use the damn thing. I could go on, but I'm sick of it. I just wish there was something other than Windows that you could run on your PC, whether it's for business or for pleasure. Whoa! What's that? Oh.
The Extended Security Update Explosion. Microsoft offers extended security updates for Windows 10. ESU costs $61 for year 1, doubles each year after. It's designed to be expensive, to push users toward Windows 11, to make staying on Windows 10 financially painful. But something unexpected happened. Businesses are paying it, happily, because even at $244 for year 4, it's cheaper than dealing with Windows 11's problems. Microsoft projected 2 million ESU subscriptions by end of 2025. Actual number, 47 million. They underestimated by 23 times. 47 million users willing to pay Microsoft to not upgrade to Windows 11. That's not a temporary holdout. That's permanent rejection with a price tag. Users are literally paying money to avoid Windows 11. Think about that. The new product is so bad that millions prefer paying to use the old product instead. One IT director at a manufacturing company with 3,000 employees explained their decision. We tested Windows 11 extensively, deployed it to 200 pilot users. Performance was measurably worse. Application launch times increased 18%. Our CAD software ran slower. User complaints increased 340% during the pilot. We had to provide additional training because the UI changes broke established workflows. We calculated total cost of Windows 11 migration, $2.8 million over 3 years. That includes hardware upgrades for computers that don't meet requirements, software compatibility fixes, training, and productivity loss during transition. ESU cost for our 3,000 computers, $183,000 for year 1. Even if it doubles each year, we're paying $732,000 over 4 years. That's 74% cheaper than migrating to Windows 11. The decision is obvious. We're paying ESU indefinitely. That calculation is happening in thousands of businesses, large and small, all reaching the same conclusion. Paying Microsoft to stay on Windows 10 is more cost-effective than upgrading to Windows 11. Microsoft accidentally created a business model where customers pay to reject their new product. That's unprecedented failure. The Registry hacks keeping Windows 10 alive. But not everyone is paying ESU. Millions are using technical workarounds, Registry modifications that keep Windows 10 receiving security updates without paying. The methods are well documented online. Tutorials with millions of views. The modifications trick Windows Update servers into thinking the computer qualifies for free ESU. It's technically against Microsoft's terms of service, but millions are doing it anyway. Microsoft knows about these Registry hacks. They could stop them with a simple server-side change. They haven't, because stopping the hacks would force users to make a decision: pay ESU or migrate to alternatives. Many would choose alternatives. Microsoft prefers users staying on Windows 10 through Registry hacks to users leaving Windows entirely. Better to have them in the ecosystem, even if not paying, than losing them completely. YouTube tutorials show the extent of this. How to get free Windows 10 updates after support ended has 4.2 million views. Windows 10 ESU Registry Bypass 2025 has 3.8 million views. Keep Windows 10 updated forever without paying has 2.9 million views. Combined, these tutorials have been viewed over 20 million times. Each view potentially represents one user staying on Windows 10 indefinitely, never upgrading, ever. The comment sections reveal the permanence. One top comment with 12,000 likes. I've used Windows since Windows 95. I'll use Windows 10 until it literally stops functioning. Then I'm switching to Linux. Windows 11 will never be installed on my computer. Ever. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Look at these comments. Thousands of us making the same pledge. The replies are thousands of people agreeing, making the same commitment. Windows 11, rejection isn't temporary. It's a permanent decision millions have made. The hardware incompatibility that created permanent barriers.
Microsoft just keeps losing with AI. Like, why would I need Copilot to change my resolution? Does everything on GitHub have to be Copilot? An agentic OS, what is that?
But many users can't upgrade even if they wanted to. The TPAM 2.0 requirement locked out 52% of Windows 10 computers. These aren't ancient machines from 2010. These are computers from 2015 to 2019. 5 to 10 years old, still perfectly functional, fast enough for all common tasks, running Office, browsing, email, video calls without problems. Microsoft declared them obsolete overnight because they lack a security chip most users never heard of. The impact is staggering. A survey of 50,000 Windows 10 users found that 68% have computers that don't meet Windows 11 requirements. Of those locked out users, 71% said they won't buy new computers just to run Windows 11. They'll either stay on Windows 10 indefinitely using ESU or registry hacks, or they'll switch to operating systems that support their existing hardware. Linux runs fine on 2015 computers. Chrome OS Flex works on old hardware. Users have options that don't require buying new computers. Multiply Sarah's story by millions. That's the impact of hardware requirements. Microsoft created a permanent barrier. Users on the wrong side aren't waiting to upgrade. They're permanently locked out. And instead of buying new hardware, they're discovering alternatives work fine. Once they switch, they're not coming back. The hardware requirements didn't drive upgrades. They drove permanent Windows abandonment. The Enterprise Permanent Freeze. Enterprise tells the same story, but at larger scale. Gartner's Q3 2025 survey of 800 large organizations found that 43% have no plans to migrate to Windows 11. Not delayed plans, no plans, ever. They're committed to Windows 10 with ESU for as long as Microsoft offers it. When ESU eventually ends, they're migrating to alternatives. Not to Windows 11, to Mac, to Linux, to anything but Windows 11. The reasons are consistent. Windows 11 breaks mission-critical applications. Legacy software that companies built their operations around doesn't work on Windows 11. One healthcare system spent $4.7 million developing custom patient management software in 2016. Works perfectly on Windows 10. Doesn't work on Windows 11. Re-engineering it for Windows 11 compatibility would cost another $3.2 million. They're not spending that. They're paying ESU. When that ends, they're migrating the entire system to Linux-based solutions. Windows 11's incompatibility turned them from Windows customers to future Linux customers. Retraining costs are another barrier. Employees have muscle memory. They know where things are, how to accomplish tasks. Windows 11 changed everything. Center taskbar, removed features, changed settings, locations. Retraining 10,000 employees cost millions. Not just training time, productivity loss during transition, support ticket increases. One large company calculated retraining costs at $1,840 per employee. For 15,000 employees, that's $27.6 million just for retraining. They're not paying that. They're staying on Windows 10 forever. Goldman Sachs made their decision public in August 2025. They're not deploying Windows 11. They evaluated it for 18 months. ran extensive pilots, tested compatibility, analyzed costs, concluded it's unsuitable for their operations. Performance is worse. Trading applications run slower. That's unacceptable in finance where milliseconds matter. They're paying ESU for their 65,000 Windows computers. When ESU ends, they're migrating to Mac for traders and Linux for infrastructure. Windows 11 was evaluated and permanently rejected. JP Morgan Chase reached identical conclusion. So did Deutsche Bank, UBS, and Credit Suisse. Major financial institutions globally are permanently rejecting Windows 11. These are Microsoft's highest value enterprise customers. They're not migrating to Windows 11. They're planning exits from Windows entirely. That's permanent rejection from the enterprise segment that generates Microsoft's most profitable revenue. When Wall Street abandons your platform, you've lost. The leaked Microsoft internal panic. Internal Microsoft documents leaked in October 2025 reveal the panic inside the company. One memo from a senior Windows executive: Windows 11 adoption has stalled permanently. Users are not delaying upgrade decisions. They've decided not to upgrade, ever. Our models assumed eventual migration. The data shows that assumption was wrong. Users who haven't upgraded by now never will. We have 400 million users on unsupported Windows 10. We assumed that number would decrease. It's increasing. We're losing users to alternatives, not gaining upgrades to Windows 11. Another leaked document shows adoption projections versus reality. Microsoft projected 65% Windows 11 adoption by November 2025. Reality, 26.1%. They missed by 38.9 percentage points. That's not a small forecasting error. That's a fundamental misunderstanding of user behavior. Microsoft thought users would eventually accept Windows 11. Users decided they won't. The leaked documents show Microsoft doesn't know how to fix this. One strategy memo lists options. Offer free Windows 11 upgrades with extended support. Response: already free. Not working. Force Windows 10 end of life by stopping ESU. Response: would drive users to alternatives. Improve Windows 11 to address user complaints. Response: would require fundamental redesign. Years of work, billions in cost. No option is good. Microsoft is trapped by their own product failure. The permanent migration to alternatives. The most concerning trend for Microsoft is where non-upgraders are going. They're not all staying on Windows 10 forever. Many are migrating to alternatives, and those migrations are permanent. Linux desktop market share hit 10.8% in October 2025, up from 3.2% 2 years ago. That's 237% growth. Mac reached 21.4%, up from 13.2%. Chrome OS at 5.9%, up from 1.8%. Every alternative is growing while Windows shrinks. The pattern is clear in user forums. People asking, should I upgrade to Windows 11, are getting consistent advice. No, either stay on Windows 10 or switch to Linux Mac. The community has decided. Windows 11 isn't worth it, and increasingly, people are choosing the switch option. Why stay on unsupported Windows 10 when alternatives are supported, faster, and free? The migration pipeline is established now. YouTube channels dedicated to helping people switch from Windows to Linux. Switching to Linux in 2025 has 8.9 million views. Why I Finally Left Windows has 6.2 million views. Windows 10 to Ubuntu Migration Guide has 4.7 million views. These aren't niche content. These are mainstream tech tutorials getting millions of views. Each view potentially represents someone leaving Windows permanently. Where this ends, December 2025. Windows 10 at 62.1%. Still rising. Windows 11 at 25.3%. Still falling. The trends are permanent. Users have decided. They're not upgrading. They're paying ESU. They're using registry hacks. They're migrating to alternatives. But they're not upgrading to Windows 11. That decision is final. Microsoft faces a crisis with no solution. They can't force upgrades without driving users away. They can't make Windows 11 acceptable without admitting it failed and rebuilding from scratch. They can't lower hardware requirements without admitting those requirements were unnecessary. Every option requires admitting failure. Microsoft's corporate culture doesn't allow that. So Windows 10 will persist. Zombie OS with more users than the current version. Supported through hacks and paid ESU, while users slowly migrate to alternatives. Windows' overall market share will continue declining. Not to Windows 11, to Linux, Mac, and Chrome OS. The platform that dominated computing for 30 years is dying. Not from competition, from permanent user rejection of its successor. If this showed you how Windows 11 rejection became permanent, share it. Because Microsoft isn't advertising that Windows 10 usage is rising, that 47 million users are paying to avoid Windows 11, that enterprises are permanently rejecting it, that users are making lifetime commitments to never upgrade. The rejection is permanent. The data proves it. And Microsoft has no plan to change it. Windows 11 failed. Not temporarily, permanently. And that failure is killing the Windows platform entirely.